You're welcome.
Other questions?
Yes.
Do you think that your book will be censored in Cuba?
Probably, because even though I don't focus so much, it's not what I call a political book, but I talk about what I liked about Cuba, my life there, and then I went through the revolution. So I had to talk about it, because that's why I left. And I talked about when Cuba started to change, when my family decided to leave, and in the USA. So they would not like when Cuba started to change.
I think that one of the best stories I've seen in movies is the one that Andy Garcia did, that movie,
Yes.
Lost City.
The Lost City. I saw the movie. I saw it in Miami, actually, yeah.
Really. But would you be able to readers in Latin America outside Cuba? Obviously?
You know, Lulu doesn't publish the book in Spanish. I wrote it in Spanish, and now I have to say my mother read it.
Okay.
And she confirmed some of the things that I had in the book, because I wasn't sure that I remembered correctly. So she edited the Spanish version, and I hope someday to do it in Spanish. But I didn't have the money to invest at this point.
Any other questions?
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to want to play this back when it comes out in podcast, because I heard so many great ideas.
Oh,
so
well,
first of all, can we have a round of applause for Maria?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was a good group.
You know, and it's really inspiring. And I'll tell you one quick story. So I became very interested in publishing a book probably about 4 years ago. And it was sort of just an idea. And one thing I will suggest, and I don't know, Maria, if this is something that you've done, but if you can network with other book authors, so we're in Chicagoland, there are a lot of them, and somehow make a connection to someone. I did it without really knowing how accomplished he was. I met him through a different context, and he's someone who he speaks around the world, charges $20,000 a speech based on a book he wrote. And at the time, I didn't really even know he wrote a book, found out. And he recommended me to his agent out of New York. And I thought, wow, this is a golden opportunity. And he said, don't write a book proposal, because it was nonfiction. And so I wrote the book proposal. He counseled me through. Here's what you write. You know, he spent an hour and a half with me on the phone talking me through all this. So I spent all this time, and I was very excited. And, of course, I thought my idea was so good. And I had to go to New York for business anyway. And the agent said that he would meet me at the Algonquin, which for those of you who are writers know, like I was like, wow, this is like, I'm living some sort of dream. And, you know, went and sat, and, you know, you see the round table, and, like, you know, all the famous writers where they sat and all that. And I'm like, I'm so special. And he pulled out my proposal, and you couldn't see most of the words I had typed because he had so many comments. And this man, who is up there in age, spent 3 hours going over all the things that were wrong with my book proposal.
Oh, my God.
But felt that if I went back and did all the things he said, that he'd be happy to try again. But I will tell you, it's much more fun to write the first time than it is to go back through all 40,000 things that you have to change. And I will tell you the one piece of advice he gave me that has caused me to want to go back and do more work on this, and he said, you need more stories in your book. Because I'll tell you, I do business planning, which I find fascinating, but guess what? It's not that exciting to most people, which is why they hire me to do it. So if I want to write a book about business planning, I've got to have some good stories. Okay? So, case in point, I'm trying to tell more stories, which I just did. So if you're writing a nonfiction book, even if it's about something dry, you need to think about how can you bring that to life for people. And I think that that is truly an art. And so Maria, thank you so much for all of your pointers. I do want to mention a couple of closing items. First of all, if you want to contact Maria, she'll be up here afterwards, but also she's at mariamartinez7000 at yahoo.com. And she's also at mariamartinezbooks.com. That's probably easier to find. And, in closing, I want to mention that we have several events coming up, so if you enjoyed this, I think you'll enjoy some of these others. I left a flyer for a webinar. It's a virtual workshop on September 8th. This is intended primarily for people who are interested in going back to school, particularly those who are looking at changing careers. And so it's a 1-hour virtual workshop from 12 to 1, and we have an expert panel that will be talking through and guiding you on some of those topics. And it is free. And you can register for that online. And then on September 21st, we are going to have a workshop, probably in this room, because it's unofficially the Dean Cousins room now, on office politics. And yes, I did handpick that one myself. No. So I think that will be a very, very good workshop. It's being done by Brian Little, who is a senior advisory board member for the School of Business, and he's also head of HR over at Zurich. So, so some good pointers from him. And then secondly, on September 22nd, we are going to co-sponsor, along with the Midwest Society of Professional Consultants and the Chicago chapter of the International Society for Performance Improvement, roundtable sessions around management communications, project management, measurement and evaluation, and mobile learning. And so that is a roundtable event. There is a fee associated with that, and information will be coming out. I believe the fee is about $35, and it does include food. So, as does pretty much everything at Kendall. So, pardon me, the date is September 22nd. Okay. So, so thank you very much for coming tonight. Again, if you haven't checked out the School of Business on the website, I hope you will. We have a lot of these sorts of things going on, and frankly, our students graduate having done a lot of interactive projects with the business community, and knowing people like Maria is just an example. So thanks for coming tonight. Feel free to come up and talk to Maria and ask her about her book. I believe she has a few copies with her. So
thank you
thanks
so
very
much.
much for
I
coming.
enjoyed all of you. Thanks.